Hi everybody, welcome to the Footy Channel Ground Topper. This is the latest edition of NUFC news. As we put out the retain list, one player going definitely, two we're considering contracts for. Why? What the hell is going on? Find out all next. Yeah, so hello again there, everybody. But before we get into today's show, if you do enjoy this video, then please don't forget to smash the thumbs up. It really does help the channel up the search, and it means new viewers can find it more easily. So please do smash that thumbs up. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, come and hit that subscribe. Come and join this great community. I'm now over 6,700 subscribers, so it's growing every day. And I thank everybody who's subscribed so far. Also, hit the bell notification. That will let you know when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. If you want to become a member, it's 99p. You can do that, clicking the join button. And if you want to make a donation, do that at chat, clicking on the $sign. All money is reinvested back into the channel. So yes, as yesterday, Newcastle United put out their retain list, and also mentioned players who will win. One player we definitely know is leaving the club is Jamal Lewis. Such a shame for that lad who's never really made it, really, has he, at Newcastle United since he signed for us under our former owner. So the £13 million we've paid for him, we're not getting a penny back of that. But he goes on a free, and all we can see is from Newcastle fans, wish him good luck and hope he gets his career back on track. At the time when we signed him, he was a cracking left back. Liverpool wanted him, but we got in ahead of Liverpool. But unfortunately, I think bad manager under Steve Bruce didn't really help him at all, and he just could never get his career going at Newcastle. So good luck in your future, Jamal. So yes, as I say, we talked about the retain list and players who may be leaving as well. A couple of other players whose contracts are coming to an end. This guy here, Callum Wilson. Now, at the Everton game, after the match, we saw him go around the pitch. He looked very upset emotionally. And it seemed to be that was Callum Wilson's goodbye. But we found out yesterday that Newcastle United are considering offering him a new contract. Now then, no disrespect to Callum Wilson, but is he finished at the top level now? You know? And that's a question we all want to know. Now, if I look at Callum Wilson and I think, yes, I don't think he can give any more in the Premier League, unfortunately. You know, we know he's injury prone, and you know he's had a lot of injuries. His body is just basically saying, "Look, I can't take much more of this," you know, and that's why he keeps breaking down a lot. You know, he's 33 years of age now. You know, he started 2 out of 18 games for us last season. Hasn't scored a goal for us at all. So look, for me, he's on 49 goals. I would say it's time for Callum Wilson to leave. Now, I've seen a lot going on social media about this as well. I think this will be the right time for Callum to leave the club. And I'll tell you why. Because, look, he's been a great servant for us. He has been great. And I say he has been great. But there comes a time when you just know at the top level, you just can't cope with the demands of the top level game. And I think that's hitting Callum now. So I think for the sake of Callum Wilson, I think what he should do is probably turn around to the club and say, look, thanks for the offer, but I'm going to leave. I think maybe somewhere down, I think you should drop down to the Championship maybe. Maybe go and join someone like a Wrexham or a Birmingham who've come up from League One. maybe the Wrexham project would suit him down to the ground. Even if he scored 15 goals in the Championship next season, that could even earn them promotion. What do you guys think? Get your comments in. Let me know. I mean, do you think we should now let Callum Wilson go? Should we time down to a new deal? Because the way I look at it is, we need a backup to Isak, and we saw it last season with Isak. He had a slow start, but then once he got going, he was banging the goals. And then we know the end of the season wasn't the best for him, but we know he was carrying this groin injury as well. So we need some sort of decent backup that we can rotate with Isak as well, who can come on, help us out in the game, maybe grab us a goal. But also when it comes to cup games, we can rotate this player with Isak as well, or even Premier League games. Just drop Isak out for one game if he's played in the Champions League, and give the reserve striker a go. But we need a quality backup. I know we've got William Masula on the bench as well. He's only a young lad. Now, when he comes on, he seems to bring a lot of energy. And as fans, we don't know what he's going to do. And I don't think he knows what he's going to do himself. But we see it from him. We see it from Will Masula. There's enthusiasm there. Yes, he's very, very raw, and there's a lot of work to do on William Masula. But I think eventually he could end up being a good striker. And it's going to take time with this guy. But when he's not getting on ahead of Callum Wilson, that's when the questions are starting to get asked. Well, hang on a minute. Why is Masula not getting a goal? Look, when he came on in the Carabao Cup against Chelsea when we beat them at St James's Park, he came on, I think within 30 seconds he'd hit the post. Look at the goal he scored. Yes, okay, it's against Bromley in the FA Cup, but it was still a cracking finish. So the guy can score goals. But I think he just needs a bit longer on the pitch. And hopefully he has a good pre-season behind him as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think the time now is let Callum Wilson go. Let's try and get a decent backup in. There's Toku Munas from Fulham. But Fulham are wanting 50 million. He's nowhere worth 50 million. I'm sorry, he's not worth anywhere near that sort of money. So for me, I mean, look, there's been links with Cali Muendo as well. I mean, look, he would be decent backup for Isak. You're probably talking, what, £25 million for him. But again, he plays at Rennes. I think we were linked with him a few years ago, if I remember rightly, when the takeover not long happened. But nothing came of it, But last season in Ligue 1, he started 31 out of 33 games and he got 17 goals and 3 assists. So that's nearly that's a 1-2 ratio. That's the sort of striker we need, Somebody who can come off the bench, grab a goal, or somebody who can rotate with Isak and, find the back of the net. So someone like Callum Wilson would be absolutely fantastic, if I've got his name right, by the way. So he would be, I think, a good addition as well. But again, the transfer window, it's open, closes on Sunday and shuts for about 8 days, and then it opens again because it's the Club World Cup. So, look, we'll just have to wait and see what happens there then. But, as I say, Callum Wilson's been a great servant, and I think really we should let him move on, if I'm honest. Right, the next one that has been talked about, given, in contract negotiations with, is John Ruddy. Yes, who can forget John Ruddy? Right, another one. Why do we need John Ruddy? He's 38, 39. Why do we need him? Is it not time to get rid of him? Because, look, yes, he may be good around the dressing room or whatever. But, we can't just keep players because they're good around the dressing room if they're not playing, but yet we're giving them a wage. Or is it because we want to keep him running so he can go out and model more dressing gowns again, for next seasons where, I mean, joking aside, I'm sorry, either give him a role as a coach, a goalkeeping coach, or move them on. Because at the end of the day, they're taking up valuable places. They're taking up wages. They're taking up a place in the Premier League squad. We've got 5 goalkeepers on the books, 5. And I've never seen this before, that we've had more than this amount of keepers on the books, I mean, another guy who's had his extension triggered is Mark Gillespie, Again, the C's on 10 grand a week. 10 grand a week for a cheerleader, for somebody who can organise events, a night out and things like that, I know he's probably there for the homegrown quota, but come on, The competitive game he played last time was against Newport County in what is the Carabao Cup. And he made a howler in that game, if I remember rightly. That was the night we won on penalties. But yeah, look, again, another one that really needs to be moved on. They're talking about bringing Fraser Forster back to make up the homegrown quota. So what, we're going to have 6 goalkeepers in our? Come on, we've got to start getting rid, We've got to start getting rid of some of these keepers. I think Ruddy needs to be let go, if I'm honest, along with Callum Wilson. We just can't be carrying passengers, I'm afraid. We shouldn't be. We want to evolve as a club. And yes, our mind keeps saying, oh yeah, but we want to be number 1. Well, if you want to be number 1, start getting rid of some of these players that are not good enough anymore. Ruddy could go off and probably play for a Championship League 1 side, give them 1 season or whatever, or a couple of seasons maybe, and then go in as a player manager somewhere or as a manager. Gillespie, let him go somewhere else, but we can't now because we've signed him on a contract and nobody's going to pay money for him. So yeah, thoughts on the goalkeeping situation. Should we get rid of Ruddy? Vlachodimos is another one. We've bought him, but he doesn't get a game. So why don't we get rid of him as well? Get some money for him. So I'm sure there'll be teams out there who would buy him. Just get them off the books. We want to give Isak an improved contract. But then how can we give him an improved contract if we're going to keep people like Ruddy, Gillespie, etc. on the books? It's, we've got to... we keep saying PSR and all this. There's talk that Willock may be on his way to Fulham because Fulham are very much interested in Joe Willock. So if we got 25 million for him, that would be great. Great news. If Longstaff goes to Leeds for 12 million, there's 37 million pound. They're saying there's 83 million pound wriggle room for PSR at the moment. Well, that'll just jump up once if we got rid of them too. There's talk of Nick Pope. Now, this is a very big rumour going around about Leeds wanting Nick Pope. Now, if we are signing a goalkeeper like James Trafford, I mean, look, I rated this guy when he played for England under-21s. I thought he looked a great keeper, James Trafford, by the way. That's, if he was to come in and be Nick Pope's replacement, then okay, we'd have to back him and hope to God that he proves himself, But there is other keepers out there. But I think we need to start getting some players in who have got some Champions League experience as well. I mean, we've been linked with a keeper from Dortmund, Korbel, who I think is a cracking keeper, by the way. But again, it's all rumours at the minute, so we just have to wait and see, We've got Dubravka on the books. Could Dubravka make a move this summer? He may well do, because he got that new contract and then he got dropped for Pope. So he could think, yeah, do you know what? I'm off. I'm going. So who knows? We'll just have to wait and see on that one. And as I say, in terms of players, we know Longstaff is wanted by Leeds as well. Looks like Leeds want most of our players, to be fair, but yeah. And apparently Everton. So again, that could be another player that could be out the door. But again, it's all rumours. We don't know what's happening, do we? And I mean, look, we've seen the window this week. There's been talks that Bremo doesn't want to come to Newcastle. He wants to join Man United instead. That's his preferred destination. Well, if that's the case, jog on, go. If you don't want to be with a team that's in Champions League, because we're not going to give you the wages you want, Brentford then want too much money for him now. Do you know what? Fair enough. Go to Man United. The same with Cunha. He's gone to Man United as well. I'm not saying there were targets, because there might not have been targets for Newcastle United, but they've gone. Well, Buemo hasn't, but Cunha has. And if it takes Man U 2 to 3 seasons to get back into a Champions League spot or whatever, that's 2 to 3 years of their career that they've wasted, where they could have been winning trophies at another club, whether it be us or anybody, you know. So at the end of the day, that's up to them. If they want to waste their careers, let them. Buemo's 25, coming up for 26. So look, you know, he's gonna, if he wants to waste the next 2 to 3 years at Man United, then so be it. Let them. But it did break last night. That one player we have, Craig Hope, I think, broke this news as well, that we've gone back in for Anthony Elanga. Now, he's Swedish, we know that. He's 23 years of age, so, and a right winger, which is what we're crying out for. We're crying out for somebody on the right. I actually like this lad. And I think when Forest signed him for 15 million quid from Man United, they got a bargain. Well, in fact, they got a bargain anyway, because they got two wingers for 18.5 million quid in Elanga and Hudson-Odoi, £3.5 million from Chelsea. So, you know, and to get 2 Premier League wingers for that price, that's an absolute steal. But now they're wanting about 50 million for Elanga. Now, I don't think he's worth quite 50 million, but maybe if you got him for 40 million, I would say that would be a good bargain, a very good move. Obviously, he knows Isak's game. Isak knows his game. Playmaking's his strengths. He does have a weakness of ball control, and he can play left wing or right wing, but right wing is where he plays a lot for Forest. But he can, as I say, he can play down both flanks. He started 31 out of 38 games, and he's got 6 goals and 11 assists last season. And he created 9 big chances as well. So, you know, he's a creator. He's a goal maker. So, for me, Elanga ticks the boxes as a right winger. I would say yes, definitely. I wouldn't be against it. There's other, you know, but I need to know why we're not casting the net further abroad, because sometimes you can get players abroad who are a lot cheaper option, but also just as good, if not better sometimes. You know, there's talk of Akliushi from Monaco as well. I mean, he's a cracking winger. And if I just delve into his stats, Magnus Akliushi, he's 23 years of age as well. High pressing, passing and playmaking are his strengths. He's got no weaknesses. 27 out of 32 games he started last season, and he's got 5 goals and 10 assists. So, look, again, that's on par with Gordon. We know we've got Murphy on the right, but we do need to upgrade that right wing, because although Murphy's had a great season, Watsy doesn't go out next season and he has a stinker of a season. And it can happen. We saw it when Miggy had that great season. The season after, he was poor, wasn't he? So, look, it can happen to players. And we need to start bringing the younger players in. But, you know, we do need that right wing strengthened. And we do need a backup to Isak as well. I mean, looking at the Callum Wilson thing again, maybe, could it be because Eddie Howe's thinking, look, let's talk to Wilson just in case we don't get a striker in, and then we've got Wilson there as the backup. But again, like I said, he didn't score any goals last season apart from the FA Cup against Birmingham. Do we really want... Does Callum Wilson warrant a new contract? That is the question. And I don't think he does, if I'm honest with you. As I say, we've seen lots of rumours flying around this week. This player, that player linked. Look, at the end of the day, the way I see it is, that's what they are. Exactly what they are. They are rumours. The only way we know when a player is signed for the club is when they announce it officially, either on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. or on the official site and you see the player there standing in the Newcastle shirt, holding the scarf above his head, then you can say, yes, we have definitely got a player over the line. But until then, they are just rumours. You know, all those channels, we can all do transfer shows. People can say, what are you doing a transfer show for? The reason is because, like I keep saying to people, is these are rumours. It's players that are linked, and we'll just have a look at their strengths and their weaknesses and see if they're any good and if they are worth for Newcastle United going forward. And that's exactly what it is. They are just rumours. I mean, the rumour mill's starting up again this summer that we're going back for Mark Gui. Again, it's another rumour. I know Crystal Palace are having some issues about Europe or something. I'm going to have to sort out with UEFA because of John Textor, who owns clubs as well. They might not want to sell Gui because he might stay because of the being in Europe. So, again, that could be another one that's blown out the window or out the water. But again, Chelsea might go in for him, who knows? So we just have to wait and see. But as this transfer window draws to a close tomorrow, the new one will reopen 8 days later until the 1st of September. And I do believe we will sign players, and I do believe we will have a very good transfer window. So we just have to wait and see. We just have to be patient, guys and girls. That's the key. Patience is the key. Don't take too much notice of rumours circling around on social media. Take it with a pinch of salt because, like I say, once that player is official at Newcastle United, standing in the stadium with a shirt on and they've put pen to paper, that's when you know everything is made official and that player has signed. So, anyway, coming to the end of this now. So if you have enjoyed this, then please don't forget to smash the like. It does help the channel up the search. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, come and smash the subscribe. Come be part of this great community. Also hit the bell notification. That will let you know when I'm live. Have a pre-record or any upcoming shows as well. England play Andorra later on today in Espanyol. Will Anthony Gordon be playing in that game starting, or will he on the bench? I don't know. We'll find out. Tino Livramento, congratulations on being called up to the England Under-21s European Championship squad. So fantastic. Hope they have a great tournament. I'm now going to enjoy my cup of tea. There we go. I'm going to have my cup of tea now. And as I say, remember, the future's bright. The future is definitely black and white. And as I say, stay patient with the transfer window. And I'm sure I will see you all later on. But as I say, thank you for watching. And goodbye.